It's still a lot of debate about who we are. Cats arguing, we ain't African, we ain't black, we ain't this, we ain't that. Man, truth is, we all of that. Cause all of that come from us, you know what I'm saying? It's all about where you gon' fit in. Yeah. Yo, what's your name? You an African, an American, or an Israelite? Black or more, Muhammad, or a provocateur? What the business like? Malcolm X, my enemy. Chief Turner, Dr. King, keep a burner, you repeat. Look at me, who you see? I'm Garvey when I rap a bar. Every line is a blacker star. I'm Master Farm cause I understand who these crackers are. Nat Turner's my avatar. My attitude so desolate. I'm a mocking dog, these motherfuckers. Dr. Cotton, these Europeans know what I mean. I'm Farrakhan, never will I run. Robert Williams, nigga with a gun. George and Jonathan Jackson, Dr. Yosef Ben, Yakanan. Show and prove like Dr. Clark. I'm a boom cause I got the heart. I'm the cause I'm hella smart. I'm Denzel cause I got the part. I'm Bianchi, Sutton Kufu, Mansa Musa, Shaka Zulu. I'm with Mia, I'm with Tulu. If I was Jesus, what would you do? I'm a Negro and I'm colored. I'm your nigga and your brother. Yeah, I kill you, but I love you. Accept your own and reject the other. What's your name?
What's your name? And why don't you now know what your name was then? Where did it go? Where did you lose it? Who took it? And how did he take it? What tongue did you speak? How did the man take your tongue? Where is your history? How did the man wipe out your history? What did the man do to make you a tongue?
What's your name? It's a Chigaboo, it's a Porsche monkey, it's a Scambo, it's an Oreo, maybe revolution is just too much for the handle. I ain't carrying no scandal. I ain't scary like Amber. Harry Tubman with a candle. Time to pick up the mantle. I'm a son to I ain't Queen of Zinga. Nefertiti and Queen Amina. Half she said and the Queen of Sheba. She thinks she God, please believe her. Name is Osada, great escape. Angela Davis, peace safe. Winnie Mandela, refuse to break. I'm anime, refuse to hate. I see straight through cause the lady day. Been standing loop, I got things to say. With Shirley Chisholm, I paved the way. The whole queen, came to slay. Better should buy by me, my Malcolm. Black love is the only outcome. I won't stop until y'all have some. I might say this shit gon' happen. I'm on shoot, come bless the altar. I'm Nivea, I bless the Walter. I'm Olakuna, I drop my daughter. I'm Oya, I cannot falter. I'm the one to give birth to stars. Masterful, how I work these bars. Series B to the earth to Mars. KOS, reverse for stars. Show now.
And why don't you now know what your name was then? Where did it go? Where did you lose it? Who took it? And how did he take it? What tongue did you speak? How did the man make your tongue? Where is your history? How did the man wipe out your history? What did the man do to make you a tongue? If you want to write down.
Peace and power to everyone.
Peace and power, free the land.
Free the land by any means necessary.
Free the land.
Free the land.
All right, just playing a couple of commercials as we get ready here. Did the audio go out on that?
The Uhuru Academy overall is an amazing school from the teacher to the students. Is a place where kids can build their confidence and learn how to write, read, type, all of that good stuff. We learn our history here. We honor our ancestors, so we learn about who we are and where we come from, and I really enjoy this about this school. And like everybody's pretty much saying, it's a safe space, and we can always be able to feel like we can open up to our classmates and our teachers. So that's what I love. I love the environment and that they promote not being afraid to ask for help.
Something positive about the Uhuru Academy is this is a safe space and you can be able to say whatever you want to say without being embarrassed, just like how Imani said. I've been able to sometimes I can be shy talking around people, but y'all taught me not to be shy and everything. This is a very good school. The part that I love about this is when we do ancestor reverence and African history. I think this is the greatest school I've ever went to because you teach me about my history, and at the other schools they never taught me one thing about my history. They just taught like the only black people they talked about in my other schools were like Carter G. Woodson, Martin Luther King, and I think that's it. So you guys helped me learn my true history.
Okay, so let's see. Let's get our. Let's see. Trying to promote Mom and Koyo to panelists here. We're going to get started here in just a second. Peace, free the land, Mama Ayo.
Free the land, everyone. Baba.
All right, and we're just waiting on Mama and Koyo and President Sama I. There's Mama
Beautiful.
right there. There's Sama I right there. All right. And
Free the land. Sa'ama'at, I've texted you, but I don't think I've ever seen you. How are you, sister?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Mama Amanata? How are
I'm
you?
good. And greetings to everyone else. Nice to meet you.
greetings. Greetings, Mama.
Greetings, Mama Amanata. This is Mama
It is an
Ayo.
honor.
Nice to
Honored.
meet you all.
Yes.
Nice to meet you
Free the
too.
land. Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
Thank you.
Greetings.
Much gratitude. Gratitude you're here this morning.
I say. All right. Well, we are streaming on the Uhuru Academy YouTube channel as well. And we do have some attendees that are attending, and I'm sure some others will attend this mini webinar that we have going on. And I want to just kind of step up and welcome everyone to one of several mini webinars that we're going to be hosting leading up to the New African Education Conference 2023 next Black August.
Yeah.
Right. We are gearing up and getting ready. We are bringing this conversation to our community, to our people, with the mission to build, enhance and strengthen African-centered schools, African-centered programs, and African-centered education throughout the globe. I say, and so it is an honor to be here today. I'm going to turn it over to our moderator, all right, who is the Vice President of the Provisional Government of the Republic of New Africa and an amazing educator in her own right, Mama Ayodele Kofi.
Greetings and free the land, everyone. Thank you, panelists. Mama Aminata, Mama Nkoyo, Sister Sa, Baba Amin. Thank you so much for joining us. And as Baba Amin has said today, that this is the first of a series. And the reason why is very plain. The educational system, or I should say the miseducational system, is definitely not meeting the needs of the New African community and the community at large. So we want to get started today, and we want to pose a series of questions to each and every one of you so that homeschoolers, people who are struggling with their children in school that are having issues, people who are looking for some alternatives can hear from the list of educators and directors of all these wonderful institutions to talk about some of the issues that we're going through. So without further ado, I'll let you decide who wants to go first, but I have about 10 questions, and each one of you, please give us about 2 to 3 minutes answering briefly, because as Baba Amin said, we want to do this at least bi-monthly, if possible, every 2 months until we get to 2023, August, Black August. So without any further ado, let me get started. Let us start with the youngest. Can we say Sister Sa? And then we can go to, I don't know your ages. Let me just start with her.
No, but you know I'm the oldest.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can tell. It's all good.
We'll start with Sister Saab and Mama Nkoyo, Baba Amin, and then of course Mama Aminata, and then go to the next question. With your permission, let us begin. Before we start, I want to give all thanks and praises and anointings to the ancestors for your walk and your purpose in this life. We want us to be uplifted, that you give your heart and your minds and your spirit to our people who are looking for alternatives, and help them on this road to redemption. Ashe, ashe, asheo.
Asheo.
I say,
So the first question, of course, which everybody's looking for, why are we saying this? But how would you define African-centered education?
Well, first of all, I would like to just greet everybody on the panel. It's such an honor to be part of this particular panel that's so extremely important for our people and the minds and hearts of our people. African-centered education, new African-centered education is extremely important, because education literally shapes whatever type of education that we receive, literally shapes our perception of the world, and it also shapes what it is that we will be doing in the world and for whom, right? So coming from knowing that this particular education system, miseducation system, as Mama Ayo called it, is coming from a European colonized perspective, from our colonizers' perspective, and whatever it is that we learn in this particular education system is going to support the empire that we are colonized in, right? So it's important for us, if we want to shift things, and if we're saying that we want to be independent and self-determining in terms of our future and our children's future, we have to set up an education system that is supporting our goals and aspirations as new African people, which is land, self-determination, reparations in terms of repairing all on a mentally, physically, spiritually, psychologically level what has transpired with us over these last 500 years. Plus some, right? So whatever the education system that we say, coming from our perspective, an African perspective, which is in alignment with truth, justice, righteousness, universal law and order, unconditional love, right? It's extremely important for us to be able to view the world from that perspective, from a righteous perspective, and whatever decisions we make, whatever it is that we learn, or education, meaning bringing forth that which is already there, whatever gifts and talents that we have can be put to the service of our race and our people.
I say.
Thank you.
Greetings to everyone. As Mama Ayo has stated, I am Nkoyo Ojuo, co-founder of the Uhuru Academy. And what African-centered education means to me is exactly kind of what it says. It's education that is centered around us as people of African descent. We like to make sure that we put us in the middle, whatever we're educating on, if it's math, if it is science, social studies, whatever that is, we are at the center of that. So we are looking at that from the perspective of African-centeredness. It's going to always be sure to maintain a historical reference within those things that we teach. It's going to also make sure that we are teaching from a perspective of in confidence, encouragement, empowerment. It's going to make certain that we are educating from the standpoint of our sense of the perspective of what historical events and historical references. Math, we're going to talk about Imhotep. We're going to talk about the Labombo Bowls, and we're going to talk about those things. We're in science. We're going to talk about Imhotep as well. We're going to talk about, and from a language arts perspective, we're going to talk about Queen Hatshepsut and things of that nature. So we're going to always make certain that we are focusing on us, so that when we are identifying, if a student is not enjoying math, when we tell them that it comes from us, then they got to get a little sense of, oh, okay, well then it comes from us, I can do it. So African-centered education is is going to always make sure we maintain that point of view, is our people, our nation, our bloodline, our lineage, so that like Sister President Ma'at was saying, President, yes, Ma'at was saying, is that we are no longer being schooled. We have to unlearn what we were taught in this public food system, so that we can make certain that our children pass on down the line. We're not coming in. Your child won't come in to be unlearning anything. You will just be teaching. The next generations are going to be continually teaching and uncover the many, many mysteries of our history going forth. So that's what African-centered education means to me. It's just starting with that basic, that foundation, always looking at everything from our point of view. Where are we in the situation? Give thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Baba Amin?
Yes. And again, it's an honor to serve on this panel with so many great educators, right? African-centered education, and to complement what's already been said, and to not be repetitive, I want to point out that yes, African-centered education is teaching education from our perspective, teaching education through the lens of our ancestors, you know what I'm saying? But also teaching education that's geared towards where we want to go in the future, right? So African-centered education is not just a Black history class. It's not just about the past. African-centered education is about understanding the present and preparing for the future. Right? What are we educating our children to be? Where are we educating ourselves to go? Establishing a goal, right? Establishing a goal and building a plan that's going to take us there individually and collectively. So African-centered education is empowerment-based education for African people here and abroad. So, and I yield. That's like my addition or contribution to that definition.
Ashay. I want to thank all of you all for what you do, because I, like you, know what it takes, and it's a lot of sacrifice, and it's hard. So Ayo and Nkoyo and Sa Ma'at and Brother Amin, thank you, Asante Sana, for giving yourselves to our people and our children. Chokwe Lumumba used to say, if you don't love the people, you'll betray the people. And I know you love the people because of what you're doing every day. African-centered education at Quilombo means that we love our people and we love ourselves. In the words of Baba Asa Hilliard, you have to teach people, or teach our children, who they are, where they came from, how they got here, and what we must do now, right? So when we talk about what we must do now, we have to talk about teaching our children that they're divine, that the Creator made them perfect, that their ancestors, not that they don't have to grow, but that they are divine, that the ancestors run in their blood. They have the blood of Imhotep. They have the blood of Queen Nzinga. They have the blood of Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So we want to let them know that they're loved. And I love the word empowerment. Baba Amin, I think you used the word empowerment. And then we teach our children, yes, the history. I think everybody did such a good job defining it, but also sovereignty. Like, we're doing this so that we will be free, so that our people will be free. We also believe that we have to teach African children in the United States, new African children, that they are connected to Africans worldwide. They're not just a little community. They're connected to Africans throughout the world, and we are actually, people of color are actually the majority, and all human beings have the right to be free. And so we tell them that we are educating them so that they will be social activists. So it's not just education. We're not just giving you a gift. We're investing in you so that you will continue to fight for our freedom.
Ashay. Hey. Oh, you guys have me tingling over here. You got me all vibrated up. I got goosebumps. You hear me? Because our people need to hear all of it, because it's so holistic. Everything that you're presenting, mind, body, spirit, all of it. I'm excited. So, second question. Let's get really, really serious. How would you respond to the criticism? Now, this is a criticism that a lot of people say, that our African-centered education is not well-rounded,
Do you want us to go in the same order, Ayo?
No, let's start with you, Mama Aminata, and let's go backwards.
Okay.
Okay, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would strongly disagree with that, obviously. You know, before you can love anyone else, you have to love yourself. And because we've been wounded as a people so much, we have been raped, we have been victimized, we are still experiencing Ma'afa, a term coined by Marimba Ani, which means our great disaster, that we have to pull our children apart and teach them how excellent that they are. Once you know who you are, you can deal with anything. You can go anywhere in the world. You can communicate with anyone. So actually, it is the first step to being well-rounded, is to know who you are and to love yourself and your people.
Ashe. Baba Amin.
I say, thank you, Mama Aminata. That's a powerful, powerful response. Just to compliment, you know, because I've heard this criticism before. I've experienced this criticism with, and I'm sure you have too, Mama. You know, yeah. Where parents say, "Well, I want to go to public school so he can be more well-rounded and learn how to be around other people." You know, and my response is, when you go to public school, you learn how to be everybody around other people except how to be yourself around other people.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
You know. And what we want our students to learn how to do is to be themselves around others. Bring your best self to the table, because that's what others deserve, your best self. And that's what you need when you bring your best self to the table, because by bringing your best self, you're not vulnerable to cultural influence, to social influences. We look at our school systems right now, and they seem powerless to combat some of the popularized cultural behaviors that are self-destructive, you know, and I believe in the African-centered setting builds a safe space where young people can come in and we actually fight what's popular in our school. So when a song is out and it's talking about killing Black people, we're not scared to play it. Let's deal with this, and let's deal with the values that are attached to that. Now, do you believe that? Do you believe that in your core? Do you believe that in your core? Right. And so now you're not walking out into society pretending to be something you're not, because society's defined being Black as that. So now you don't have to be a real one or a thug or to rise above society's definitions. So African-centered education not only prepares you to be more well-rounded, it prepares you to be well-rounded while being your best self at the same time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I got it. Okay. Mama Nkoyo?
Yes, so well-rounded. And I would have to say, from whose perspective, first of all, who in the heck can tell me what is well-rounded? You know, whatever my culture, my people, my nation desires, or what it is demanding of me, that's what I'm going to need. So well-rounded, where we teach our scholars to be global citizens. First of all, we teach them that you are everywhere. You were everywhere before anybody else was anywhere, as a quote from Baba Ami. But we teach them that, and so that they understand wherever they are supposed to be there, that they are going to be welcomed by those who look like them, meaning you go in there with the energy that I'm you, and that I go in here with the energy that I belong. There's no place where I do not belong, because I am who I am. I've been taught that I am everywhere. I've been taught that that my voice matters, that what I say matter. And I'm also, when it comes to well-roundedness in the classroom, when we start school, if there's a student that comes in and they, having a bad day and they need to discuss and need to unpack that, we allow that. That's what well-roundedness means, is that you are going to be able to express yourself unapologetically, and it's going to be with respect, it's going to be with empathy, and then we're going to come with solutions, and we're going to allow you to sit with that, deal with that, and then we heal from that. That well-roundedness has, I mean, whatever is again demanded. So I'm like, who says well-rounded? Who are you to tell me what well-rounded for you is what for you, and what's for us is for us. So I hope that I made that plain, but that's what we do. We
You did.
start with the whole person. I know, right? We start with the whole person. So mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. If it's Ramadan, we make sure that we are very empathetic, sympathetic with that. For those, we talk about it. What does that look like? We make sure that if you need to leave and do this, if you need to be that's what it is. If you need to go pray, you need to go break out room. That's what we do. That's what well-roundedness is being allowed to be your best self in this place, in the space that you are, as a safe space. So well-roundedness, yes, we are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right.
Well,
that's what I'm talking about. All right, Sister Sa.
Oh, I love it. I'm enjoying this, y'all. That is always such a contradictory statement when people say, oh, it's so contradictory, because if you think about the prison school system, it's so suppressing. It suppresses who you are. You can't do anything except for as long as if it's not in alignment with what it is that they say that you're about to be doing that day. So it doesn't matter if the child has a special gift or talent. They don't care about that. Mm-hmm. So it's such a contradictory statement, because within African-centered education, you are the center. Your African being is the center. So and we really, really celebrate the lives of our children. Our children are our wealth. Our children are our future. Our children, look, that's how we live forever. So of course, it's important for us to know from a very young age what our children's gifts and talents are, and we pay attention to that and we nurture that, because those are the quote unquote superpowers that are going to be utilized to liberate our people. How much more well-rounded can you be?
I say.
Mama Ayo, may I bring my children in? Can I show you a clip of my students?
Certainly. Of course.
Okay, so hopefully I have the ability to share the screen.
If not, I'll give it to you. Let me see. Let me make sure.
They're letting me share. This is cool.
Okay.
All right. And you're going to hear them do our affirmation.
Okay. All right.
We are committed to unity, and we are committed to liberation. We are empowered by the Creator and the spirit of our ancestors. Oh, nothing stop us. Freedom is ours. Uru Shasta, Uru Shasta, Uru Shasta, Shasta.
I just wanted to bring them in just for a minute because
go ahead.
Were you able to see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now.
Okay. Yeah. It's just important, that the work that we do is spiritual. We're reclaiming who we are. That's right. All good. There's nothing negative about it.
Absolutely.
I say.
Absolutely. It is our right, and it's a divine right to educate ourselves and to put our children on the right path. One of the things that all of you have mentioned, particularly you, Mama Aminata, is that we're in the process of nation building. If you look at a nation, if you look at everything around us, we need doctors, lawyers, engineers, plumbers, we need carpenters, we need mechanics, we need the people who are going to clean up. We need the people who are going to be tailors, seamstresses. We need the people who can envision. I mean, every sector of society is being called to rebuild a nation, because who's finna build a nation except if you don't? African-centered education prepares all of us, looking for your particular gift. If you want to be a cartoonist, make the best Black cartoons or new African cartoons.
That's right.
Songs, poets, etc., etc. So I appreciate all of you with this. Now, Mama Aminata, I know that you've had probably your school is the oldest on the panel. Your Huru Academy has been up for some years as well, and we've taught in different places. What are some of the challenges you faced as an independent African-centered school or educator in an African-centered school?
Yeah, I bet that we would all answer this probably kind of the same way. Money is the big thing, right? Money. I have to constantly fundraise. My daughter has to constantly fundraise. Our board chair is Mauli Davis, who's an attorney and an activist. He is constantly fundraising. You don't get paid much, and then you got to give a lot of money back to the school so the school will function. And I would say money. If all Africans decided just to get $25, $20, $10.
That's right.
Independent school of their choice, to support CB, the Council of Independent Black Institutions,
yes,
then we wouldn't be hurting. I have one of my best friends, she's been my friend since I was 10. Her mama used to always say, Black people will be all right once we get over what's shiny and new. Meaning that we want to put our money into what's shiny and new, instead of putting our money into freedom schools, into independent schools, into African-centered schools. So that's money's one. The second is, I still believe that we have to win the hearts and minds of our people. That our people have to understand that the education system is dangerous. I don't think we get it. It is dangerous. It is killing our children. It is literally tracking them toward prison. And we're all connected to each other. So if we don't stop the miseducation and the poisoning, the spiritual and mental poisoning of our children, our future is bleak. I've been an educator for 42 years. So Quilombo has been in existence for 17 years, but I've been teaching for 42 years. And I taught in a public school, and then I became a consultant. So that means I went to schools all over. I still do a little bit of that so I can eat, right? Yes. Thank God for my husband. I can like emoji because he's holding it down, right? But wherever we are in schools, wherever we are, this is not just true of Black children, it's true of Latino children, and it's true of poor white children. There's a large percentage of us that can't read, a large percentage. So we sending our children to the public school. They go there 181 days a year, and many of them are not learning how to read. And they graduate sometimes 3-4 years below grade level.
That's right.
We are in danger, and we have the power and the means to stop it. But we look the other way because we're looking at what's shiny and new.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ooh, that got me upset. I got to calm down now.
I know.
Woo, Lord, help us.
Yes.
It is true. It is true.
Right. I would definitely echo on the economics. The money, is a challenge. Funding is a challenge. Uhuru Academy, we're going into our 12th year.
Nice.
And yes, and whoo, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. It's been a journey of cars going back, moving out new houses and old houses and new states, new cities. It's been a journey, but we're on it's a commitment, not a career. And we've done, I owe a tremendous amount of love to my family, my wife. We have 8 children.
Wow.
And they have adapted. They're investors in the school too. They're primary investors because they gave up luxuries in order for the school to remain open, and time that we could have been spending with our children. We're spending fundraising in the community, throwing shows, doing events and that sort of thing, and bringing that money to whatever we raise right back into the school, and then knowing that this is something that we could subsidize as a community with our shoe money.
Yeah.
Right? With our shoe money. I read a stat the other day that says, we buy 20% of all Air Jordans. Well, I read another stat that says that Nike makes $3 million every 5 hours selling Air Jordans. 20% of that is $600,000 every 5 hours we give to Nike. $600,000. That's over $3 million a day. You can fund Quilombo and Uhuru Academy together for the next 4 years in 3 days with just the Jordan money.
Right.
Right. So the resources are there, but it's here.
Yes.
It's here where we're having to tap in and a lot of our work. That's why we do music. I'm 50. I ain't really trying to rap, but I'll do another album if it'll wake up another African, as long as we need that tool to get to the hearts and minds of our people, then that's what we're going to do. So those are the challenges. The challenges is getting in the door of the minds and hearts of our community. And then helping them overcome the fear, because it's stages in that. So It's like, I agree with what you're doing. I love what you're doing, but I can't do it with you. I love what you're doing. I sneak you some, like we on the plantation. I sneak you some porridge out the back door, but I'm not gonna burn the plantation down with you. I'm not gonna build some. So just working through those layers is a challenge. But once you get them in that classroom, it is so satisfying and so rewarding. Once you do the work. So the work is addictive, but at the same time, maintaining the work is definitely a challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And everything you're saying is true.
I say.
Absolutely.
Lots of sacrifice. Mama and Koyo?
I don't have a whole lot to say. You guys have said a tremendous amount of things that I would have stated. And with the but to veggie back off of, with the education of the family. For me, I think that would be one, because we think that sometimes we think that when we bring the children in, we're just educating them, but we're not. We have to remember that we're educating the whole family, like you stated, because you may have mama that's on board, but you may have grandma that is a primary supporter that's saying, "Nah, I don't know about all this." And so there's going to be a little conflict. So we make sure that we do events and we make sure that they invite those supporters, those family members, that village out, so that they can buy into it as well. Once they see the results and they see their baby speaking and doing things that they've never seen them do, and it's like, oh, y'all got to get them to do that, and it's like, okay, well then I'm in. What you need me to do? So I think that's one of the things that that may be a big thing for us, is just making sure we pull in we're educating the whole family, the whole village, and that we have to give them that insight so that they can have ownership in what we're doing in their child's education, so that they can be a part. They can also, when their babies come to them and say, "Hey, let me tell you something, Grandma, let me play this." Well, we have one child, Imani. Every time we're recording something, we're speaking on the historical references, or where somebody's doing a presentation. "Baba, can you send me that so I can get my grandma? I can show that to my grandma." So her grandma come in, she's like, "Yeah, you might be teaching me." She teaches me. That is such a big thing, and I love that, because we had that issue, early on. It's just really making sure that what we teach, it transfer over into the lifestyle and the home as well, so that we're making sure that everybody buys in. That's a part of that child support system. So that will be one of the things that I wanted to expound on. Is just making sure everybody is educated and buy in.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, Mr. Sa.
Yes, those are some excellent and true responses. As an African-centered educator, one of the to veggie back on what has already been said, I'm going to add keeping your co-educators zeroed in focus long term. You know what I mean? At least that's the issue that I have experienced working within an African-centered school, because that issue of money come up, and when people on the outside see that you got a good thing, here they come offering you up something to sell you out, right, to the state, or just, y'all know, over time many different come up. So being able to keep your co-educators zeroed in and focused long term in terms of the mission and the purpose, because everybody's going through a healing process, you know what I'm saying? And as we are educating our children, we're educating ourselves. We're bringing forth that which is powerful within ourselves that can be utilized to liberate the hearts and the minds of our people. And so getting our education, making sure we all stay on that same page, because we'll start wandering over time. You know, when they are not getting the results that they deem in their mind, that it's not, they're not looking at it from a holistic perspective always, all the time. So that's one of the issues.
That's good. That's right. That's right.
Say, absolutely. Sounds like we're putting a manual together.
I know, right? I love it.
I said the documentary. We got to do a documentary on this.
No, it's important. It's important. I think too. May I speak, Ayo?
Absolutely, Mama.
I think too that it's risky, but sometimes we have to broaden ourselves. So, for example, we just went through an interview process, right? And there were a couple of people in the interview, they were right on point with us in terms of what they were saying. They were steeped in African-centered thought and lifestyle. But my question was, did they have the kind of character that we needed? So sometimes I think we might need, and I don't know, I had to let you know, because the person that we hired is not steeped in African-centered thought. But I believe with all my heart that most of our people are nationalistic. And so she has a deep love for Black people, and she has good character, which means we can trust her. Like, you could be African-centered, you could be a new African, you could quote all the rhetoric, the heroes and sheroes.
That's right.
We have to trust you to go into the classroom and be excellent. Right. And if we can't trust you to do that, none of that other stuff matters.
None of that other stuff matters.
So far, it's really working out. And she's like, we call it, I'm a member of the New African People's Organization and the Malcolm X Grassroots Movement.
Yes.
And we talk about the red, green, and Black levels. And the red level is when you pissed at white people. You pissed at America. You realize, oh shit, this is what's really going on. Oh, I just said a bad word. Was that okay? Probably not. I ain't gonna do it again. I'm not gonna do it again. All right, then the green level is when you start studying. You start studying. So you connect that emotional, that passion to study. And then the Black level is no matter where you are, you're gonna always be fighting for our people's freedom. I think many of our people are on the red level. And if they're in a relationship with us, we can push them to the green level.
Right.
Because it's all about that. It's about getting more people into our circle, not staying closed. Not staying closed. Because we ain't gonna win if it's just us. We're not gonna win if it's just us.
Right. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Character's transferable. Like Mama said, character is transferable. I can put you in a Black history course if you just need to lace you up with some more facts. We can get that, but if you're already a man and woman of your word, that's a great place to start. That's a great place to start.
Yes. And you have a love for our people.
I love our people.
We can work it.
We can work it. We can work it. Yes, absolutely.
But if you're African-American and you committed to America, then it's not a good fit.
Oh yeah. No. If you're uncomfortable because we ain't pledged allegiance to that flag every morning, you might not want to be here.
Right.
That's right. So and it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
That's wonderful. One of the things that I really focused on is the buy-in, because I found out as being African-centered education in the public school, because I always taught, which I guess most people can't do that anymore because of whatever law they have. The children would go back and say, Miss Kofi said, Miss Kofi said, Miss Kofi said, and them parents would come and be looking at me upside my head and say, did you tell my child this and that? Only because I had to realize that knowledge of self stopped somewhere in the late 60s, early 70s. So we have generations upon generations of wonderful parents or wonderful people that did not give that information from birth. And now it's being given to them, and it's rocking their world, because many of them said, I never learned that in school. Nobody ever told me that. And that is our
Yeah.
fight and our challenge, because somewhere along the line, we just didn't get it anymore. We just didn't get it.
Well, it's not, African liberation is not a tool for integration.
Yes.
And so we're the integration generation. And so those children who grew up in the integration, the busing times and with the dream of going and blending into society, that Black pride was no longer considered a vital tool in doing that. You know, so we were taught away from the afro and into the jerry curl and the perm, and that's so we can blend in. But when you sacrifice knowledge of self in order to blend in, you're not blending in. That's not a blend. You know, it's and it's detrimental. So yes, that's where I believe that's where that generational gap that you're talking about, Mama Ayo, kind of came in. And our strategy, the prevailing strategy, changed.
Yes,
exactly.
And, you know, so yeah.
Well,
George Floyd shook that up a bit, though. So our people are kind of right now.
You can suppress it, but you can't destroy it.
You can't destroy it.
You can't destroy it. It's always there, you know.
Yes.
And I'll be laughing at people because I remember when I first grew locks back in the early 90s in Fort Worth, Texas. You know, everybody's like, "Where you from?" I'm like, "I'm from the hood." "What you mean?" "I'm from right over there." You know, but nobody was wearing it then. And then it came in vogue and style, and everybody did it. And then being pro-Black wasn't cool no more. But we just stay constant. And I always salute those educators, those activists, those organizers who just stay constant regardless of where the national sentiment is.
Yeah,
you know? Absolutely. And that's why it's so important that we establish our schools, because an institution of learning is going to stay constant. It's going to be there.
Yes, that's a good word.
You've answered this question, but briefly, give me less than a minute for these next questions, because of course we have so much to cover. But we want some questions from the audience eventually. What are some things African-centered education and particularly can particularly offer students that public school doesn't? And I know you touched on it, but be really, really specific. What are some things that African-centered education particularly offers students that public school does not?
I'll be real brief. Our history, our culture, love, and a vision of liberation.
I say.
I'll
throw one out there too. Cultural understanding. We understand your children. We understand what we culturally understand our children.
Yes.
Ashe.
I think I would have to say, to add on to the cultural understanding is that not only just culturally understand them, but we understand that everyone is not gonna learn the same. Yes. Everyone is not the same. So we understand that we're looking at the whole child, that child, and we're going to see how we are able to work with you, how to help you navigate this thing called learning and get the most out of it. We offer safe spaces. We're not regimented. We're not going to be trying to follow a system. We are trying to follow the child. We're trying to follow what the family. If the family says this is what we're implementing at home, then this is going to be the plan that we're going to implement for your child. So we offer that. We offer a broader range of independence and liberation and freedom for our students. So I think that's something major that we offer them. And it makes me feel so good that a baby can come in and not have to feel like, I got to do this. I got to cower because I want to answer. I know everything, but the teacher's not going to understand. Want me to be quiet because or a child that's up and they're moving around. The way they learn is active, and then it's like, be quiet, sit down, be still, shush. And we're not that. We understand. We know how to navigate. We're very innovative people. As African people, we are innovative. We watch and we know how to navigate. You know, of course, over 400 years being in this place, we know how to navigate, and we know how to regroup and then move on and make the best and the most of the situation. So I say that's what we give as an African-centered institution.
Ashe.
I say, I'm gonna keep my answer short. Of course, self-esteem, confidence, empowerment, and most definitely direction.
Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful.
I say.
Wonderful.
Folks, y'all know what y'all talking about around here, huh? Okay.
We hope so. Absolutely wonderful. So, okay. I mean, I'm sure the listening audience is, chomping at the bits, but we have a few more questions before we allow them to come in, Baba. So the next question, can you give me kind of a brief synopsis of what kind of impact that you have witnessed as educators, as owners of schools, that you have had on students, their families, and the community at large? Because of course, you have some stories, some challenges, some some failures, as well as some great successes. Can you all briefly, what are some of the things that you've seen impacted? Baba, go ahead and start.
Okay. Wow. I'll go back to some of our early days, and one example is a young brother by the name of Adolfo. He was Emery when he enrolled with us, and Adolfo is his African name. But when he came, Mama came in. The brother was just second grade. I already had a discipline file this thick. Right. And they were recommending special ed for him. They were recommending behavior meds for him. Mama, who's a chemical engineer herself, was like, no, I'm not buying into that. She trusted us and brought him to the Uhuru Academy. At this time, we were having school in the church. And she enrolled him in the school, and we assessed him, worked with him, and come to find out he was just intelligent. That was his issue. Wow. And we needed to move him up 2 grade levels in order for school to be interesting for him. And once we moved him up and began working with him on that level, the behavior issues decreased. Now he still has some behavior, but now he's having behavior issues around people who culturally understand it. So now he can hear a black man's deep voice. You can see a black woman look at him like that same look his mama gave him before he about to cross that line, And long story short, Adolfo ended up, he transferred from Uhuru Academy, got accepted into this soccer academy, this international soccer academy. He's 17 now, doing great, on track to graduate early, cutting hair, playing semi-pro soccer. Which is always his goal, and once Uhuru Academy, always Uhuru Academy. This was a child that was about to be put on that prison track, that behavior modification track, that because he was exposed to African-Centered education, exposed to himself, now he's living his best life. Right. That's one of my examples.
Right.
Beautiful.
Man, Lumbo, we pride ourselves in not only being African-centered, but differentiating instruction. So I think, Nkoyo, I think you may have mentioned that earlier. We teach children wherever they are, and we pull them up. So if your child comes to us and they're really advanced in terms of skills, because all of us have the mental capacity to grow. But if your skills are advanced, we know how to challenge you. Like last year, my 8th graders read Things Fall Apart, which they, don't usually read until like early college, sometimes seniors in high school. But if your child can't read, we can teach them how to read, right? So if they come to us and they're in the 4th grade, but they're not reading, we will teach them how to read. So we've been able to do that, to help children learn how to read who could not read. We had a little boy that could have been on the spectrum. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not sure, but however, I've been an educator for a long time, so you do kind of get to see certain things. And, he would kind of sing and hum when he talked, and, he wouldn't necessarily answer questions. And I remember sitting on the carpet with a group of children once, and I asked him a question, and he didn't answer. And so I believe in wait time to give him a chance to think about his question. He was about maybe second grade then. And one of my other little boys said, they call me Show, which means grandmother, right? One of my other little boys said, Show, you know he don't know the answer, move on.
Oh.
That little boy grew, was in honors in high school, and now he deals with technology.
Yeah.
You know, and then one of the stories that really touches me is actually my own grandchild, right? I'm gonna tell you two, and then I'm gonna stop. All right. She's my grandchild. She's not my biological grandchild. She's my daughter's husband's child, right? So she's my grandchild. So she came to live with my daughter and her husband. My daughter is Tashia Umo. She's the director of our school, right? She came to live with them when she was, I want to say, in the 6th grade. And where she was in school, they had labeled her as just a negative label, like she was a troublemaker. I can't remember what the label was now, you know, and I can't even understand it because I don't see any of those traits. My granddaughter told me that we saved her life, you know, and so now she is in college. She went to Temple, but she said Temple was too white for her. So now she's going to Arizona. She does her own businesses. She's an amazing young woman. Then my grandson is dyslexic. So for years, or he's managing dyslexia. For years, I was consulting and making my money that way and just kind of coming to Quilombo and helping, you know, helping with teacher training, that kind of thing, fundraising, that kind of thing. But when we lost a teacher a few years ago, the Creator put on my heart that I was supposed to teach. Well, that was hard now because I was making good money as a consultant. Plus, consultants don't work every day. Right. And teachers work every day. Right. So that changed my life, you know, but I had to be obedient to the Creator. And my grandson reads on grade level. He is a serious thinker. He has a vivid imagination. You know, the success stories all root from healing and love. And then they tap into who they are. You know, I am so honored to be able to teach our children.
I say.
Okay. I said I wasn't gonna say anymore, but we got kids at a child Spelman, graduated from Bennett, Howard University, Prescott University. We go to the 8th grade. They go on to high school. Our sister school is TSK, and they do a lot of great things over there. And then they go to college and they're successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
And that's the goal.
That's the goal.
I want to say real quick that that I think that one of the most impacts I've had that I've learned, I'm going to say representation. When we as a people, a community, the children, when we know that we're represented within a system that doesn't represent us, it's such a big confidence booster. I'm going to have one example with my own son, Uhuru, which he's named after school, of course. And because he is truly his name, he is so free thinker, free moving. And so we knew that we could not allow him to be placed in public school. So I was so grateful that when we came to South Carolina, that we have our sister school, the Uhuru Academy, South Carolina International. They are doing a great job in allowing him to move and learn freely. Now, he moved, he's molded after his father and his big brothers. And, you know, the men in their family tend to, you know, take their time, again, being free movers to get, you know, to decide that I'm ready to, you know, do this education thing, how you guys think I need to do it and how I want. And so they, you know, for a while, I made him tell the story about, you know, he was telling teachers until like 3rd grade that he don't read. I don't read.
Yeah. I didn't say I couldn't. I just said I did.
I didn't. It wasn't that he couldn't. I don't. So
and I did not. They could not get me to do it.
So it was like it was an intentional self things like, and the Huru was the same way. He wouldn't, he would move around and would be all drawing and imagination somewhere else, and they would be talking. They would be, instructors would be teaching, and they were like, well, Huru, did you hear me? What, and they thinking, no, I didn't hear you. And then he would come out with whatever they were saying and just bam, bam, bam. They're like, oh, wow. And so it's just being allowed to be you and to function and to learn how the best thing for you has been so great, because my son is he's in 4th grade, and he has never had the issue of bullying or misrepresentation of a teacher saying he just not gonna make it. He just, I don't know, he need to be, off somewhere else as a resource. But he was watched and monitored, and then the educator is going to cater. I'm going to move around and cater to what you need. So now Uhuru is writing. And within 10 minutes, it would take him an hour to write one sentence, because he did not want to write. He was so into technology, but he writes. He is, he told himself that he was going to read. I think it was 2nd grade going into 3rd grade over the summer. He said, I'm going to go back reading. And I'm like, oh, okay. I feel you. We're going to read. Let's give you some books. He's like, nah, I don't want those books. I'm good. He went back and he was reading. I'm like, I don't know, but it's his own thing. I have to allow it. And so I'm grateful to have that. That's what our education, our African-Centered education does. But
and he won 1st place in the science fair last year.
Yes, he did.
Nice.
My brother's a scientist. He likes to break down. He likes to know the intricacies of things. So he's going to break it down and he's going to build it back up. And, I love that. So that's one of the impacts from my own standpoint. But representation is another from what I've seen. Parents, families, communities love to see, because we've not been represented within this place for so long. So to have representation is a big impact upon our communities.
Ashe.
I just want to add, these young people come out of African-centered schools, new African-centered schools, knowing love. They know love. It's not just the word abstract out there. They know it. They exude it. They know affirmation. They don't know doubt. They don't know fear, uncertainty, those sicknesses of the samurai that poisons most of the minds and hearts of our people from catapulting forward. So these children, they say, I am, I will. Then they do, because they've been supported in that all along and over time, it just makes them better world citizens.
Ashe.
And those are some beautiful, just kind of confirmations for ourselves that we are on the right track. My confirmation always came when I meet my former students. They say, you don't remember me, Miss Kofi? I said, I remember your face, of course. They said, we'll never forget what you told us. We'll never forget when you told us about Black people. We never forget, Miss Kofi. You were my favorite, or I'm doing this, no matter what they're doing. And the other thing is to know that I've seen some of my students, they're on the block. They're still on the block.
Right.
Because, you teach them in middle school and they still on the block. Some of them you see dealing. Some of you see, but when they see my face, because I'm in the hood, y'all, they run. That's Miss Kofi. They don't want to see, they never want to see me, see them doing something that's not good.
Right.
So those are our confirmations that you've said something, you've touched a child, you've lifted them up, you have done what you're supposed to do. That's for me the greatest gift.
Yes.
Ashe. So let me see if we have time for one more quick question. Do we have time, Baba Amin, before we open up the line?
You know what? Why don't we go ahead and open the line up? I think this has been an amazing panel, and we can save some questions because we're gonna have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, we will.
Yeah, we definitely have to do this again. And we're just beginning. Again, we're on the road to the conference. Right.
Yes.
So let's open it up.
Yes, because I see a sister on here that's also an African-Centered educator in Florida, and I know that she has some great things to add to.
So you're gonna put Sister Cheryl on the spotlight.
I did.
And more and more will come. More and more
will
come
right.
over time. All right, beautiful. Go ahead and open them up.
All right. So everyone has the ability to chat, and then we do have Q&A. So you should be able to post a question in the Q&A as well. And I did open the chat up as well. So if you want to do it that way, or if you like to talk, you can raise your hand and I'll hit the allow to talk, and y'all just jump on in.
Let's do it, guys.
You know, raise your Zoom hand, and I see, okay, there's Miss Melly Queen. Let's do it like this. Now, when I hit allow to talk, it's gonna bring you on the screen. So you know, just letting everybody know, be ready. I'm like, oh, Baba Mean brought me on the screen. I ain't have my locks twisted. Don't get mad at me.
Right.
All right. Here we go. Let's go for this.
We got 1 or 2 minutes, right, before our comments or whatever. Or give them a time limit or no? I'm just asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Just 1 to 2 minutes, please.
Right. 1 to 2 minutes. All right, here we go. All right. Miss Melly Queen.
Free the land. How y'all doing today?
Free the land.
Free the land.
Thank you all. Thank you all. This has been very informative and very much needed. Very much needed. My daughter went to Uhuru last year, and this year she was just adamant about being in that environment with other children. And that's one of the things that I battle with daily, because she was getting depressed. So how do we handle that when you have a child and you know that it's detrimental for them to be in that environment, right? But I mean, she was getting depressed. She was depressed, and I had to meet her halfway, you know what I'm saying? Because I did not want to take her out of Uhuru, but I had to weigh the options, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't doing good. So how do you handle that?
I would first say that sometimes when we're depressed, we think we know why, and we think what'll fix it, but that's not necessarily what it is. And I think that in working with Jay for a year, I would say, and I'm not a clinical psychologist, but I would say that the source of the depression is not about necessarily changing the environments, right? And that let's get to the root of what's going on internally, be it through counseling or something like that, as opposed to putting her in an environment that she thinks she wants to be in. Because what may happen in that environment, it could be so cruel that if there are some internal self-esteem issues, that's definitely not necessarily an environment that's gonna lift that up, right? And I think what's going on internally with her is the priority, and first and foremost. So beyond the Uhuru, beyond the public school, but somewhere where a safe space where she can get to work and get to the root of what that is. Because we want them functioning in any environment from a space of peace. And so if that peace isn't there, it's not the environment, it's something else, and it's probably more internal than external. So wherever she goes, I pray that she's getting what she needs to deal with the internal, and not relying on thinking that's the external that's going to cure it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. Thank you. Like I said, Asante Sana, this has been great. And y'all are doing it. And I thank you all.
Give thanks. Thank you. And tell Jay we said peace. And once Uhuru, always Uhuru.
Always. I already told her she got one chance, and she got one chance. I'm just trying to meet her halfway, because she is at the age, and I'm just confused. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, in dealing with her healing and dealing with self, get with us, because we have Sister Kim Case, and I have another sister who's an Afrikan-Centered in her counseling. Maybe we can set up some one-on-ones or something for Jade with that, to give her some of that support that she needs.
All right. Thank y'all. Okay.
So get with us.
Much love.
Mama Melly, I really appreciate you bringing that up. And Baba Amin, I certainly appreciate your response. You know, as a people, we don't discuss mental health enough. And we really need to start talking about mental health because we are affected by it. I believe all Black people should be in therapy.
Yes,
I just do. I just do. We've been hurt. We've been victimized, and it comes out in different ways. You know, drug addiction is mental illness. You know, and I say that as a recovered alcoholic, right? So it's been like 32 years since I've had a drink. By the grace of God, the Creator took all that from me, but I did all kinds of things. Let me just say, all right, it's God's grace that saved me. But having a trained therapist, no shame in that. We need to find out who we can get that we can afford and make sure our children benefit from therapy. Is so important.
That's right.
Yes, thank you all for bringing that. That's so important.
Ashe.
Ashe.
All right. All right. Any other hands? Let's see what we have. Let's see. I'm good. Okay, here we go. Is that Isan?
Yes, it's Isan.
Yes, Isan. Oh, peace, Isan.
That's one of my parents. I hear her voice. Not just a parent, but a parent leader. One of the pillars.
Greetings.
Greetings.
I am so thankful for this forum. I was so excited to get the message that this was going to be going on today. So thank you all. I'm here and my mother is here as well listening on. I just wanted to know if there is a directory of African-centered schools, like maybe regionally or nationally, because I'm all about, trying to get everybody on board, no matter where they are, with this thinking. So I would love to be able to share, say I have a contact in South Carolina or someone in Florida, be able to share where there are schools that they can reach out to.
The only one I know of, and one of you may know something more, is CB, the Council of Independent Black Institutions. We are connected to, but we ain't paid our dues. So we got to pay our dues. So Isan, make sure you push me on that. But you all know of anything else? Because CB, Council of Independent Black Institutions, is the only thing that I know that connects everyone.
There's a list on, and we're not on the list, but I know of the list, Seneca Village. If you go to SenecaVillageMontessori.com, they have a African-centered schools, a list of African-centered schools throughout the country on their website as well. But that's an ongoing work. We're actually a part of a couple of them that I can't recall right now, and that's an ongoing work. There's several people out there that are trying to put this information together, and so that work continues. We still need to put that together. We still need to make that happen and have a centralized location somewhere on the web, or if you're an African-centered school, we should all have an African-centered school directory on our individual websites. You know, so I believe that's an initiative that let's on the road to the new African Education Conference. Let's add that as a piece of work that we want to have happen to be done by next Black August, if not before.
Absolutely.
I'm committed to be a part
of it. In the chat, please, that you were saying, the Seneca.
I sure can. I sure can.
I'll put the Center of Black Institution, CB. And then Isan Mama Nabatu, who's one of our board members at Quilombo, she coordinates collective of African-centered schools in Atlanta. So it's not national, but it is in Atlanta, and we meet every so often.
Okay. Yes.
Those are some wonderful ideas, Baba Amin, and of course, Mama Aminata. Thank you for that question, because one of the tasks for the Ministry of Education under the Republic of New Africa was to try to, and we're working on it, as Baba Amin said, not only are we talking about African-centered schools, but we're also talking about African-centered collectives. We want parents who are just giving birth. What are some things that I can be doing to, kind of download my child while I'm carrying them, while they're in the home, from an African-centered perspective before they even get there? Because whether we like it or not, there are more and more homeschool collectives, which I think should be directly tied into African-centered schools, because at some point, we have to send them to school. Well, because we have to go back to work. But while we can be in the home, we would like some guidance as to what can we start with? What are some things that we can do to fortify them to, because whether we like it or not, you can tell a homeschool child versus a public school child instantly the minute they come into the classroom, because their whole energy is different. Their whole view is different. And we appreciate, but we want them to be downloaded with African-centered information. So that is all in the workings, because there's a need for it. Books, songs, resources, everything. And I know us as educators, we gotta compile it. We just have to. It's necessary.
I say. So in kind of wrapping things up, because it's a mini webinar, we're going to do this again. In wrapping things up, how can we support each institution?
I think
I got a question for the panel.
Yes.
Man, I think that we should all give at least $20, $25 a month to a freedom school. Choose one, but your checkbook should show that you're giving money. Well, people don't use checkbooks anymore, do they? Bank account should indicate that you're giving money every month to a freedom school.
Choose multiple freedom schools.
Choose multiple. Yeah, man.
Take $100 bill and divide it by 4 and pick 4 schools.
Absolutely. And you know what? $10, $20 a month, that goes a long way. It goes a long way. It's amazing how that can help.
All right. Good deal. Uhuru Academy is now enrolling. As a matter of fact, we have our online private school. It's K through 12. Our school year begins on September 6th, but we have open enrollment year round. But if more information, just visit uhuruacademy.com. And if you'd like to donate to our school, you can go right to the Cash App at $Uhuru Academy as well.
Yes. I'd like to mention some of the freedom schools in Atlanta. You have TSK Academy, which is a high school. Of course, you have Quilombo. We only have one space open right now because we started school in early August. We have one space open. We have Aya Institute, which is an online school. Aya does middle school and high school. We have Pearl Academy, and you can go to Quilombo school.com if you're interested in a school, because we are in Decatur, and I really think you should try to support the schools that are in your neighborhood. But we are in Decatur, and we want you to support our freedom schools.
Support.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good stuff, y'all.
We about to leave. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, you know what? I actually have an orientation coming up in a few minutes. It's been a Uhuru Academy day for me. We had our global Black History course, online Black History course this morning. Then we came right into the webinar to talk about African-Centered education. And now I'm about to meet with about 10 young people between the ages of 18 and 24 that are in our accelerated high school diploma program and life coaching. So I'm encouraged. It's been a great. This is my kind of day right here.
Oh man, well, I want to thank you all, because I didn't know I was going to get revived. So I've been writing down notes, things that you have said that literally revived my soul. So thank you so much.
Mama, it was an honor being on a panel with you, and we're going to have to get down. We like to meet people face to face. So we're going to hit we're right in Columbia. So we're going to have to hit 20 and come visit you all this year.
Come visit us. Maybe our students can connect, but we need to do more to strengthen the ties. Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So Mama Aya, you're muted.
Oh yeah, you're muted, Mama Aya.
Well, I would just like to say thank you guys so much for being participatory in this particular webinar. We know African education is primary on the list in terms of the things that we have to commit ourselves and dedicate ourselves to doing, because we know what it is that we are building, and we have to have that strong foundation. Thank you so much, Baba, for being the strong. And thank you, Mama Aminata. I already love you. I can't wait to come to Atlanta to meet you.
I love each of you, and I love what you're doing. Thank you. Please take care of yourselves.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and I got a shout out to Sabrine Jai, Mama Isan's mama. She subs for me. She's a partner and a friend. Thank you all. Thank you, parents.
All right.
Thank you. We want to shout out. We want to shout out to Ashe Academy in Coldwater, Mississippi. It is a Saturday school that meets once a month. It is hoping to build eventually to a larger education, African-centered education. But they've been operating for over a year now. So we just want to keep connecting.
Yes.
We love you. Thank you, Mama Aminata, Baba Amin, Mama Nkoyo, Sister Sa. And to our listening audience, stay tuned because there's more good stuff to come.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Sister Hassan, I definitely took the notes down. You said pen pals between our scholars. I have that. So we're gonna look at making that happen. Definitely.
Yes, so really quickly, Mom wanted to know if she could say something.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm Donnie. I'm sorry.
Jama.
I wanted to say this, y'all just been kind of moving kind of fast. But I wanted to say one of the things that our children get from our African-centered schools that they don't get in our public schools is a grounding. And they are grounded in our culture and who they are. And then they get the push to go forward to reach back Sankofa and help others to come along. They don't get that in public school. So I appreciate our schools.
Yes.
Ashe. And I want to shout out Cheryl Irvin, Sister Cheryl Irvin, who's attending the webinar right now. Yeah. She is the founder of the New Akiba Line Education Center, located in Florida, in St. Lauderdale, Florida. And so they have a project-based science, technology, engineering, and math focus that's second to none. So special shout out to the New Akiba Line Education Center as well.
Ashe.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Ashe.
Yes.
All right, y'all.
So can I do one more shout out for the New African Scouts? And I want to invite all of you all to come to Camp Humziko. It's an overnight camp every summer. We have Africans from all over that learn about New Africa, learn about our history and culture, camp out, swim, hike. It's open to all African children, right? So come on down. And New African Scouts is a Friday program. You can't afford an independent school, or for whatever reason that doesn't match you, the New African Scouts is a way to have an alternative.
Ashe.
We'll be supporting that next year.
Sure. Good. I can't wait to see y'all.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Hey, the movement is moving. Movements move, y'all. Movements move. Everyone. We're gonna see y'all in a couple of months. Till then, have a great school year. Keep pushing, keep educating our people. Free the land.
Free the land.
I am, I will. By any and all means necessary.